My name is Maksym Butkevych, and I am a human rights defender, a journalist, and currently an officer with the Ukrainian Armed Forces. I've been an anti-militarist and a person with an anti-authoritarian worldview for my whole life. I protested against war. I despised violence as long as I remember. And this is precisely why in February 2022, when Russia launched its full-scale invasion against Ukraine, I decided to join Ukrainian armed forces. Because if we would not resist at the time, we'd have all our achievements when it comes to rights and liberties, respect towards other human beings in Ukrainian society, being eliminated by the current Russian political regime. And if not taking up arms, we would be complicit to this heinous crime the occupying authorities and troops commit on Ukrainian land. Unfortunately, in June 2022, I was captured by Russian military in the east of Ukraine and spent next 2 years and 4 months of my life in Russian captivity. Within a couple of months after being taken captive, they orchestrated a fabricated criminal case against me, accusing me of war crimes, which never took place, of course, and they sentenced me to 13 years of strict regime penal colony. I spent all this time in the occupied territory of Ukraine, being imprisoned by the occupiers, and I witnessed from inside what they actually bring to us, to our land, and to our society. And this Russian world they bring stands adamantly against everything that matters to us, against respect towards other human beings, against an ability and agency of people to decide their own future, against diversity, against rights and freedoms. Unfortunately, after I was released in a prisoner swap in October 2024, those guys I've served my time with still stood behind bars, and they're still there. I ask you not to forget about them, to remember them, to talk about them, and to demand their release. Because we were not just prisoners of war, we were goods to be traded. This is why they orchestrated, fabricated criminal cases against us. Each of us had our own price tag. We were items at the warehouse being stored, expecting basically trade exchange. This is a system of modern slavery, which is systemic in Russian Federation. This is a system of torture, inhuman and degrading treatment, which I witnessed firsthand with my own eyes when it comes to both Ukrainian POWs and Ukrainian civilians detained by the occupying troops. I witnessed torture, beatings, people being electrocuted, subjugated, not because they were possessing any important military information, but simply because they decided to resist occupation and resist destruction of their livelihoods, their towns, their families, and the values they built their lives upon. This is a war of attrition, and unfortunately Ukrainian resources are incomparable with those of the occupying power and its authoritarian allies. Without international assistance, we would not be able to hold our ground for 3 years as we do now. But if international aid, if solidarity across the borders ceases to exist, if it stops, unfortunately we won't be able to hold out for much longer. Please don't forget Ukraine, because Ukrainians currently defend not only themselves but the very values all free communities and people who want to be free in the world build their lives upon. Please help us defend all important values for all of us, help Ukraine, and don't forget Ukrainian prisoners of war and Ukrainian civilians in captivity. Thank you.